What if I told you that what you see, remember, and believe to be true could be a lie created by your own brain? Today I'm going to show you 3 ways your mind distorts reality and what you can do to start seeing with a little more clarity. Here's a hint. Your brain is kind of like a computer. It takes in information from the world around you through your senses, and then your brain processes that information and creates a model of the world that you can use to make decisions. But sometimes your brain makes mistakes, and because your brain is the one that's telling you what's true, you might not even realize that you're being lied to. So here are 3 ways your mind is lying to you. Number 1, your mind is always trying to simplify things. That means some important details get left out. So you have this very rough model of how the world works. The more you use this model, the more the lie becomes the truth. You start to believe things that aren't really true. So how do you stop your brain from lying to you? I'll tell you how. Stick around until the end. I'll give you 2 exercises to train your mind. Don't go anywhere. You are watching. First, have you ever had that moment when you're sure something happened but it didn't? That's called the Mandela Effect. People remember events or details with total conviction, but they're wrong. Like many people swear Pikachu had a black tip on its tail. He never did. So why do we have these false memories? Well, the way our brain works is fascinating. It doesn't store memories like a video camera. It reconstructs them every time you recall them. And in that reconstruction, it fills in the blanks with assumptions, outside influences, or misinformation. For example, multiple cognitive psychology studies have shown that we can implant false memories just by suggesting them. Do you remember something someone told you and you assumed it happened to you? Yeah, me too. We've all experienced the Mandela Effect. And if you want to learn more about how your brain tricks you into remembering things that didn't happen, stay tuned for part 2. You think you see the world as it is, but in reality, you only see what your brain decides to show you. A classic example, the blind spot. That area in your eye where no visual information reaches your brain. You don't notice anything missing because your mind automatically fills in what's absent. The same happens with interpreting colors, shapes, or even emotions. Everything you perceive is a filtered version of reality. 2 people can witness the same situation and live completely different realities because their brains interpret the stimuli differently. So if you don't just remember incorrectly, and you also don't see things as they are, what else is tricking you? Well, let me tell you about an experiment. Researchers at the University of California, Berkeley, showed participants a series of dots and asked them to identify which ones were red. At first, there was a mix of red and non-red, and participants were accurate. But then researchers showed only red dots and told the participants they were wrong. About half of the participants continued to see the dots as red. What does this tell us? That our perception of reality is not reliable. We don't see the world as it is. We see it as our brain interprets it. And sometimes our brain interprets things incorrectly. Your brain has shortcuts. They're called cognitive biases. Some of the most powerful ones are confirmation bias. You search for and remember information that confirms what you already believe and ignore the rest. Like when you Google something and only look at the first page of results, ignoring all the other pages that could have more relevant information. Availability heuristic. You judge the likelihood of something based on how easily it comes to mind. So if you've seen lots of news about planes crashing, you'll think it's more common than it really is. Like this plane crash, the news made it seem like such a big deal. But actually, there's only 1 fatal accident for every 250 million flights. Anchoring effect. The first piece of information you receive influences your later judgment. Like when a company says this shirt is 50% off, but it's still $199. Anchoring effect makes you think that $199 is a good deal because it's anchored against a much higher number that you'll never see. These shortcuts aren't bad in themselves. They help us save mental energy, but they can also lead us to make wrong decisions and see a skewed reality. So how do you stop being a victim of your own mind? Your brain is not an enemy, but it is a system with shortcuts and reconstructions that can fool you. Now that you know how it manipulates you, even unintentionally, you have an advantage. You can question, verify, and sharpen your perception. If this blew your mind, leave a comment with which of these tricks surprised you the most. Share this video with someone who thinks they see the truth exactly as it is, and subscribe for more videos that make you doubt so you can think better.